A Satrap's duty, Y'shtola ponders the next stage of your preparations to enter the void. Although I did hear they took a lot of stuff out of RE3, so that's why, people don't like it. Seems like they just quickly tried to release it. So that is kind of awful. Once Nidhana succeeds in replicating the Mach Atmos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the void myself. Might we discuss this later? There is something I must do first. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I at least had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall we proceed with our other preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemist who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Oh, yes. Actually, I don't know. Is it I guess it's the same thing, right? Perhaps they once did, but availing ourselves of Allegan insight tends to be an involved process in and of itself. Nay, I believe a more straightforward approach is in order, consulting with the engineers of Garland Ironworks. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the void and its volatile energies. With his experience at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit the Operation Rog's Reach and commission their best and brightest. That last quest was pretty short. Seems like there's going to be a couple, Oh, what the hell? It just brought us here anyways. Alright, cool. I guess it couldn't just leave us in the dungeon, so it decided to just bring us here. I'll take it. Didn't cost me any money to teleport here. Divinius, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid, certainly. I'll see if he has a moment free. Ah, there he is. The legendary Sid. Pretty much in every Final Fantasy since the second one. I was building airships. Or something similar. A pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. That sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Meteon and that bloody mess. That was a crazy end to that cutscene. How come she is so short? It's a different race. I mean, I know we both have ears. Like, she's more of a, if you're gonna look at the furries, she's like more of a cat furry. Sid is a human in this game, and we are the bunny furry, pretty much. I mean, obviously, like, they're not furries. They got their own. There's a name for them. I forget their name. I think this is Vieira. I think this race, pretty much I think introduced in Final Fantasy 12, and she is what's the word? It's hard to pronounce. I think it's Miquette. I don't. It's got a Q in there. I don't know how to pronounce it. But we're 3 different races, so that's why there's a height difference. There's another race that's like super short too, like a gnome. Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. That's I already read this. The only Final Fantasy characters you know are Cloud and Sephiroth. Probably because of Smash Brothers, huh? Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation. Yeah, if anybody's gonna know any Final Fantasy characters, I'm not surprised those are the two. It seems some manner of corrosion has set in around a scratch on its surface, much as the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds, in which case our best bet may be simply to prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemic balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of the Final Fantasy series. That's why I started the channel doing Let's Plays about beating all the mainline Final Fantasy games, and we did 1 through 10, so all of those are complete on the channel. There's like a 10 part 2. That's where I kind of stopped, because that game is kind of infuriating to me, but I should get back to it at some point. I'm pretty much at the final boss. Well, construct the protective casing, one utilizing metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. A suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtlessly be worth the wait. The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, I think if anybody were to, in terms of there's plenty of good Final Fantasies, but a lot of people like Final Fantasy 6, which is a PS1 game. I think it is. Yeah, I think it was Super Nintendo PS1. I think. Final Fantasy 7, which has got Cloud and Sephiroth. People like Final Fantasy 9. I personally like 8. There's some problems with 8, but it's still pretty good. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Nadana is getting on with the Mach Atmos. My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy X on the PS2, which I think was a lot of people's first Final Fantasy, at least people like around my age, because it was on the PS2, which was just insanely popular. I think it's still the best-selling console. It's like 150 million units or something. So, something like that. You still haven't finished RE4. And you got it back when it came out? Yeah, I never got it, but I feel you. Usually when it comes to like Zelda games and Final Fantasy games, I'll start them and I won't stop until I finish them. And I didn't finish Tears of the Kingdom, and I didn't finish Final Fantasy 16. So I'm kind of like, it's so out of character for me. Yo, lightning shot, yeah. I decided to also stream on Twitch anyway, so I figured why not. It doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't even take any extra time to do it, so I figured I might as well.
Hey Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope.
Gives
It's a
people
lengthy process, But the end is in sight, yes.
It gives people an extra place to watch the stream, especially if there's some issue with YouTube or something.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records.
Oh, RE4 was getting repetitive, so you stopped?
What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Al-Zadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos.
And if you hate repetitive stuff, you probably wouldn't like RPGs, at least the old school ones. A lot of grinding, repetitive stuff in it. I thought RE4 was pretty short.
Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
Are you talking to me, Lightning Shot?
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you played RE2 and 3 right before 4, I could see why you'd stop playing it. Kind of just too much of the same stuff back to back.
Were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
Oh, you're talking about me with Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16? I don't know. I don't know why. I think I was playing Tears of the Kingdom and then Final Fantasy 16 came out and I switched over to 16 and I just never went back to Tears of the Kingdom and I put
were
up.
you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
And then, the past month I haven't been streaming that much, so kind of just everything kind of fell apart, but I should definitely get back to them. I was trying to beat Tears of the Kingdom before Final Fantasy 16 came out, and I just probably like 5 or 6 hours away from the end.
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm.
3 straight games of running away and shooting back. That's why I don't think I'd like Resident Evil. I don't like that. That just seems kind of annoying that I got to keep running away and, turning around and shoot people and then run away. I hate running away.
Between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side.
I always just want to go guns blazing, but I feel like a game like that, you can't do that. You gotta be like conservative with how much ammo you use.
My sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together.
But I will say that the way the game looks beautiful. That alone is making me just like want to play it. Same thing happened with Dark Souls. It was like so hard, but I was like, oh, this game just seems like a good time. If only I can force myself to get into it. And, we
I am Satrap now.
we got into Dark Souls 1 and then we did them all. Except Demon Souls. Still got to do that.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler.
This guy has braids in his hair. I didn't even know you can have that as a hairstyle. Maybe not. Maybe that's like
After all that
NPC
you
specific.
sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can consider this an RPG. I mean, like I said, it's an MMORPG, if you're familiar with the term. But yeah, it's pretty much an
I'm
RPG.
grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet,
Now you listen to me, Varshan. You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
There's an MMO edition of Goat Simulator. Didn't even know that. I'd say the two biggest MMORPGs are World of Warcraft and this game. And I guess maybe RuneScape. That's probably a pretty big one too. And of course there's other ones, but I think those are the big three. I encourage people to try this game out. You can play, there's a free trial
Your Excellency,
that gives you,
I wanted to thank you
I mean, it's
building
unlimited
the
time.
bridge. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy.
Usually with MMORPGs, there's like every time there's a new expansion, they raise the level cap. So right now you can level up to level 90. When the next expansion comes out next year, you can level up to 100. So they're offering a free trial, and I think you can level up to level 80. And it's free. You don't have to pay. You just have to download the game. Yeah, I feel you. It's not for everybody, but
And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
I just mentioned that to people because, you know, they might not know. And if they want to give it a shot, it doesn't cost them anything. It is a lot. I mean, even me, like I like MMORPGs, but I don't like to play more than one because it just consumes so much time. So I try to just stick to one. And I used to play WoW, and I dropped it for this. But that was years ago, like 7 years ago.
and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you. And here I stand, failing to live up to them.
Yeah, this is pretty much, I mean, you can play this game pretty much solo. Except maybe if you have to do some dungeons, you might need to...
If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan.
You know, you can pretty much do this game solo. Unless you have to do like a dungeon or something. But it's pretty easy to get into a dungeon with people. It's not like you have to walk around and ask people. There's like an instant, you know. The game helps you with the queuing system. You can just queue up for a dungeon. It'll find the people for you. So you don't have to go. Because when I played WoW like
My people,
many years ago, you'd have to
I
like
have come to
find
a
people.
decision. Vashan will
Which was
depart
fun.
Thavnair
It's a
for
different
time.
experience. But I don't have time for that anymore. Much easier to just, you know.
My dragon
No.
self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the Satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
I didn't know he can control. That kid is pretty much a dragon.
Take care and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
You think I'd like the South? I love the South Park games. Talking about like the Stick of Truth. I played Stick of Truth. That was great.
I would not dare make you cry.
I didn't play the other one yet. Yeah, but those would also be good games to play. You know, for a Let's Play and all that. Yeah, there's a ton of good games to play for Let's Plays that I want to play. Just not enough time to play them. You surprise me, Instinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vitra reach this conclusion. It was for a greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing the palace racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer, then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts. His endless rage was my rage. And the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Retatorsk's death, that's definitely not pronounced right. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vertra the pain, then I will follow you. An unusual crew we have here. Just the four of us? With things as they are, I'd rather not bother our comrades with aught less than a dire threat to the star. It will make for an interesting journey besides traveling in a smaller party for a change. Crowds can be a bit draining, don't you think? Now on to specifics. I don't remember. I think maybe I played Stick of Truth on PS3. I think that was the case. Dark Souls 1 is one of those games that's perfect, but you can't go back to. Up until Anor Londo, it's perfect. After that, it gets a little dicey. There's some good stuff after Anor Londo, but up to Anor Londo, it's perfect. But I feel you, it's hard to go back to a game like that when you know where all the traps are, you know how to beat all the bosses, and there's no surprises. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th had been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan as such is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. Suppose it would be more convenient, and it would be some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Let us reconvene outside Meghaduda. You never played South Park before? I mean, if you're a fan of the show, the game is great. It's better than great. At least, I didn't play the second one, but I'm sure it's... it got good reviews. People loved it. I have no doubt it's also pretty good. But I know for a fact the first one is amazing. Obviously, it's got that South Park humor, so... if you're a fan of that, you'll definitely like the game. Yeah, Elden Ring is a game I probably should go back to at some point. I mean, we put 100 hours into it, but I probably missed stuff anyways. And we do have the DLC coming out pretty soon. They announced it. They didn't put a date on it, but I'd imagine it's getting pretty close, maybe at the end of the year. The second one is better than the Stick of Truth. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. I just can't speak on it since I haven't played it. And so we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove to make a room or two ready for the habitation. Good. Please inform me when you have completed the arrangements. Oh, nice. You got the plat in it? Yeah, I don't usually go for platinum stuff. I think maybe in my life I've platinumed one game, and that was Final Fantasy 15. As you heard, we will have you settled in Meghaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourself to aid me in my search for Azdaja. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destinations. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of success might be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. Come on, I want to go in the void. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nidhana if you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th. Now is the time. Probably the next quest. We're gonna go into the void. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. You know what this means to me, Divinius, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler, and an adventurer at heart. This I know. Oh yeah, I mean, even if you're like not a big fan of, South Park, it's still a good game. I mean, the humor is top notch, but even if you discount the humor, the game's good. If you're into that type of, game. Excellently made. Excellently made, yeah. Meanwhile, in the 13th. So this is pretty much where we're going. I doubt we're going to teleport straight here, though. But this is pretty much the world we're going into. Can we finally see who this dude is? Yeah, if I were going to plat any game, it'd probably be the Dark Souls games. I have thought about that. We did Let's Plays of a lot of the Dark Souls games. I have thought about, maybe not doing a Let's Play of it, but just, doing it on stream. Because I had such a good time with streaming Dark Souls, or any of the Souls games from Software. That it'd be great to bring it back, just for the plats. That dude's a little freaky. You're thinking about playing Witcher 3? I never played the Witcher games. I have thought about playing Cyberpunk, though. Unfortunately, Cyberpunk is a pretty demanding game, and I could not stream it. I'd have to, my computer could not handle running the game and streaming it at the same time. Oh, we must have finished 6.1. Yeah, that seems to be the end of 6.1 of the main story quest, as you can see, in the title of the stream. So I guess the next quest is going to be the start of 6.2.